Hi guys, how you doing today? Please help me out here, man. It's been a long 2 days. How you guys doing today? Thank you. Cool. Again, it's interesting. I'm still getting used to seeing my name as the CIO of Barclaycard. My daughter actually gave me another title, and the way I usually introduce myself is I'm the head of the thundering herd of nerd of Barclaycard, and she makes sure she tells everybody that's my job role. What I want to do today is I'm actually going to tell you two stories. And I'm actually going to lay a problem at your feet that we need help with in the banking industry. I am the proud honor of leading this group of the 8th largest payment organization on the planet. Did you guys know that? Right. Do any of you carry a Barclaycard at all in your wallets? Thank you very much, by the way. I bet a few of you do. We actually have 3 business lines. And each of those business lines have a large presence across the markets that we operate in. We have Barclaycard US, which we partner with the likes of LL Bean, US Air, Apple, and others. And we are the 7th largest provider of MasterCard Visa in the United States. In the UK, and Europe, we have 2 major business lines. One's called Barclaycard Europe. We are the major provider of credit cards in the UK as a whole. And in our other business, which is BBS, Barclaycard Business Solutions, we actually process the majority of all the acquiring systems across the UK and pushing into Europe. Acquiring, for example, would be point of sale, commercial cards, and such. To give you scale of that, 2 of our systems in the UK process 20% of the UK economy on a daily basis. We process 48% of all payments in the United Kingdom. So that gives us a very unique position on where we sit in the payments ecosystem. Now, the way I'm going to start my presentation about moving from social monitoring to behavioral engagement, we have fallen into a situation in the banking industry of how do we engage with people going forward? As folks move more and more to social, how does that look? Folks aren't competing on products where rates, it's around how do I feel when I use your product? Our story starts about in 2010 in November. A few months before I joined Barclaycard, we had a major incident inside of the UK. Does anybody know what Sainsbury's is? Sainsbury's is one of the largest grocery companies inside the United Kingdom. On a beautiful weekend, what happened is we lost a network component called a pad. Some of us probably don't even know what those things are. And it took out all of the ability of Sainsbury's to process debit and credit cards, regardless of their bank. People were standing in line with their shopping, ready to go to do their weekend activities, and they couldn't pay. They were only taking cash at that moment. What was really interesting about this event is we did not know within Barclaycard that we had lost that network component and that we'd lost the ability to acquire for the grocery. And the grocery store across the country didn't call their headquarters to say they'd lost it. They said, oh, it'll be back in a few minutes. As the seconds ticked by, people who were shopping got agitated. There were reports of shoving and also folks walking away from their trolleys. The first word I learned when I joined Barclaycard a few months later is the word called spoilage. What spoilage is when you walk away from a shopping trolley with food inside of it, you can't put it back inside the freezers. So they lost sales opportunity, they lost product, and the first bullet in the war of social engagement took place where Tesco, the 2nd largest supermarket in the UK, sent out social media networks and they sent out radio ads. Tesco's open, come on and join us. The first place that we saw the incident showing up, and it was by accident, people started posting on Twitter. And we didn't know. So the reason I talk about that is that led us to a place of what is our voice of our customer? How do we know what's happening? What is the customer journey, not only of the large amount of merchants that we support, but of our customers that we sit out there? We roughly have 36 million clients and customers around the globe. And when you think about before that November, the only way we interacted with you is you charged something, you called us, you paid us, or you didn't pay us. The majority of your interactions with us were negative. You never called us to say, hey, thanks for a great job, I made that purchase, that flat screen TV. It's, why did I get declined? Why is my statement wrong? So we had an idea of, if people are going to stand in line in a Sainsbury's and not make a payment, shouldn't we figure out a way to see what was happening out there. And how are they going to do it? They're going to do this thing called social media. Wouldn't it be cool, right? At this point, Barclaycard had no mobile apps in the market anywhere in the globe. We had some web presence around, and we never, ever, ever dealt in the world of social media and what it meant. So a gentleman from Capital One who joined me over in Barclaycard by the name of Peter Gott went away and said, hey, we're going to figure out how to monitor social media so that we can know when incidents take place. What happened is we didn't have a lot of investment over the years of network monitoring or application monitoring tools, so we figured if we could use social monitoring to see what the experience of the customers in the wild would look like, then we could correlate that, you saw a little bit from the PayPal guys earlier today, correlate it to our system performance. We could start figuring out when an experience was going bad. If you notice, I didn't talk about a transaction, I talked about an experience, right? So we wanted to see from the moment someone started interacting with us, whether it was through a merchant or whether it was through one of our products, all the way through and back. And what we did is we designed this based on a couple different things. We created some basic algorithms, and we looked at it and said, when a tweet or a Facebook post, we're starting to get in Instagram and Tumblr, came through, we rank it against a couple different sophisticated algorithms. Compared to what you guys do, we're using sledgehammers. You're using scalpels, 100%, right? And what we did, though, is there are a couple things that we found. It wasn't incidents that we were discovering. It was people's customer journeys and how they felt about them. Some of the challenges that we really ran into day one is, and Anthony mentioned them, is what does it mean when someone posts, Barclaycard is bad? Barclaycard is bad. It means two different things. So all the stuff that we had coming across, we didn't know how to parse it. What did it mean? Was it a good experience, bad experience? The difference between UK English and American English. You know, the famous saying, two civilizations separated by the same language. It's true, right? And so what we've been doing over time is we've been parsing this through to learn what does it mean to us. And the things that keep jumping out at us, and we keep learning. Now here comes the problem statement that I need folks to help me with, is what is a good customer engagement? And what I mean by that is when people post online, they're posting about the experience they're having. What we want to start building is the behavioral engagement of saying we want you to interact with us more, right? And right now, the only way you interact with us is when we want your money or you want our money. So what we're trying to do and devise using the insights that we're getting from social media is how do you want to use your payment? I mean, what do you guys use your payment device for these days? Purchases, right? Would you like to use them to get better recommendations of restaurants or where you're located? Would you like to get a cohort deal, like you and a couple of your friends get together and get better pricing on your next dinner out or tickets to a movie? Would you like the experience through your payments organization to be able to say, you know what, we can help you pick out what is the next vacation you want to have based on your past purchasing and people who look like you purchasing? I mean, would that be helpful or would that be creepy? In a lot of instances, people will think that's kind of creepy. Some others are like, yeah, we don't know what that interaction looks like. And that's why this social monitoring piece brought forward to us, we weren't sure how to stay relevant in the market. Does that make sense? Yeah? Do you guys feel that your payments provider, your credit card company, knows who you are and what you want in your daily work? Yeah? Your daily life? So just to give you some scale of what is happening, if you take us back from 2010 to now, we actually processed 4.7 billion transactions. We had no social media interaction. We had no mobile apps. Since that time period, since that day in November, we've actually moved most of our, 45% of our population to digital active, right? We've actually reduced our paper statements by 35%. And we have huge numbers of app downloads. Now, that sounds like a good story. You guys go, that's incredible. The challenge with that is that's a massive amount of data coming into us we don't know how to process. We don't know what to do with, right? There's interactions and behavioral engagements in there that we would actually love to start leveraging to make experience for our customers and our clients better. But we're still trying to figure out what does it mean? How do we design those great experiences and those great engagements, right? And fraud, the big one for us, right? And this is actually one of the best engagements I think we have achieved over the last 4 years, and it was actually a surprise to us. So being able to digitally close down fraud alerts has actually been a godsend to our customers. Target hit most of us in the industry. That was a very scary experience for everybody in the payments industry. The ability for us to close those down digitally, so in the past we would call you. Did you make this purchase? Did you go to this place? Now what we can do is we can send you a text. We can say, did you just make this purchase? And you can text back to us and say, yes, that was me, or no, that's not me. And we can instantly shut that down. What I'm hearing now from the industry and some of my friends is that the Home Depot breach that was just reported is actually going to be bigger than Target. That's terrifying, because that now means your personal data, my personal data, is now out in the wild. And we have to figure out better ways to engage with you to make sure that we protect as those breaches become more commonplace. Yep. So the thing that I want to throw out to the crowd, right, because this is the thing that we need to solve for, is how do we look at the voice of the customer going forward, right? How do we engage? And these are some of the problems that we're trying to solve through the data that's coming in, right? So call-in interaction with the call center agents. Also, there's something interesting that my colleague Di Block and I were talking about over the last couple of days, hearing some of the speeches that are taking place, which is around blogs, right? There's a lot of blogs out there about payment providers or banks. How do we start skimming that information and correlating it with the social experience that is taking place that we're seeing coming in? And how do we start designing around that? How do we create products for people that actually would benefit with that data? We don't know. We don't know what that is. The other parts of it is the social interactions network. We have 500,000 mentions on social networks a month. 500,000. We use less than 1% of those. Right? That's how much noise is out in the environment. That's how much the insights inside of that data make no sense at all. A lot of them actually, which is actually a new thing that I learned, was the retweeting bots, right? We actually thought we launched a great product recently, and what happened is just got caught in the retweeting bot cycle, and we got posted 1 million times. It was outstanding, right? We were very proud of ourselves until we found out it was just automated going through. The other thing that we're using as we launch through this is new products. So we recently launched a product called Payband in the UK. And what it is, it's actually your credit card on your wrist, and you can go around and wave and pay and tap, right? We're using the social interactions that we're learning about to help market it out when we launch a product. So we can say, hey, this new product is out, but it's not just a notification of the product that goes out to the market. What it is that we're launching it out and telling people how to use it, where to use it, how to use it, and that is actually helping our merchants out as well. So it becomes a symbiotic relationship in an ecosystem that's been very helpful to us. So we're working through all these things, and we're learning new ways to use it. Another interesting way that we're learning to use data in the social networks is including that in your risk-based analysis, right? So we have the bureaus that we can get your risk information. Then we can also see where have you purchased, why you've purchased, and who you've purchased with, and we start balancing that into the risk profile. But again, this is new territory, and we're learning about what does it mean to us and how does it affect your behavior and our products that we're providing you going forward. So far, so good? Yeah? Cool. So, is it going to go? Is it going to go? It doesn't go. All right, so where I want to leave you is on, as we're telling about the problems that we've had and what we're needing to solve, and we've learned a lot since we've been here. One of the things that I want to tell you is we have learned, and we've learned a lot, and this is where it becomes very important for us. Back in 2012, in June of 2012, there was a major incident in the UK financial system. There's a very well-known bank that actually had a mainframe meltdown. It was so prolific, it actually has its own Wikipedia page, by the way. So I have to tell you, that's not a career enhancer if you're an IT person, if you actually get a Wikipedia page because of an incident. Because we've been spending the last couple years building out the capability of understanding what the social interactions look like and how they affect our customers and their customer journey, one of the things we found was we knew that this particular institution was having a problem before they announced it to the industry. The problem was so bad and so prolific for over several days that the regulating body in the UK called the FCA actually sent a letter out to all the banks saying you have to guarantee this wouldn't happen to you. They didn't notify anybody that they were having an incident for about a day and a half, right? We actually saw the incident as soon as it was taking place because we actually saw people going to Twitter saying that they couldn't pull money out of a bank, their credit cards weren't working, their mortgages were bouncing, and their paychecks weren't getting deposited. we were instantly able to look at that and correlate it to our system performance. And the first question I was asked the morning that we saw these events taking place was, what's happening? Because some people believe that the UK payments and banking system was under attack. Absolutely, true story. What happened is because we were able to look at the social monitoring, we could see who those customers were, and we could look at our platforms in operation, we were able to go back and say, it's not us, it's this institution. And then we were able to build a ring fence around ourselves to ensure that we would withstand the next couple days as the financial sector was recovering itself. It was so bad that, I'll put it this way, it affected our customers, it also affected our colleagues. So if you were a Barclaycard employee and you banked with this particular institution, your paycheck wasn't being deposited. So it allowed us to jump into a position to make sure that we could take care of our employees and make sure that they had money to pay their mortgages. A large amount of mortgages were bouncing, so we were able to look at those that were our customers and provide them some relief. So this insight that we learned from our experience in 2010 to that day in 2011 allowed us to predict what would take place, what was happening, and insulate our population from what was taking place at that point. But as I was saying earlier, there's so much data and it means so much, we're not sure what we're needing to do, and we're working through that as a process right now. Right? So I'm going to leave you guys with this, right, is that all the great things that we saw over the last couple of days, what I would say, if you're looking for a hard problem, let me know, because I have a hard problem. It's definitely. And if you are working in this area, the place that really would be beneficial is in the financial services sector as a whole. The banks are at a point where we have a crisis of who we are, right? Coming out of 2008, we thought we were one thing in the sector. We're now trying to redefine ourselves. And your guys' help from a data perspective of looking in and learning and being able to help us design what banking should be from a behavioral engagement perspective going forward is what we need.